All right, boys and girls, so let's see. The next one is we're going to do some nonlinear functions. So if you have a nonlinear function, then it's not going to be a line. So you're going to have some sort of a curve instead. So with the approach we're going to take on this is we're going to make a table of values. I'll tell you what to use on these things too here, basically. So this one, we want to know what numbers we know square roots of. And this is important. You can't do a square root of a negative number. You can do the square root of 0, and you can do the square root of positive numbers. Now, to avoid decimals, I'm going to start with 0, and I'm going to think of numbers that are perfect squares. 1 is a perfect square because 1 times 1 is 1. 2 is not a perfect square. 3 isn't. 4 is because it's 2 times 2. Okay, then the next one would be like a 9, and that's good enough. I'm going to go ahead and go to 16 also. All right. And then what I'm going to have you all do is I'm going to have you finish this up and graph. And then I'll tell you what to do on the next one here, because I'm just basically going to start you off on what to use for X and Y and just kind of test your knowledge. On this next one, let's use -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Okay, now just a quick review. If you do an absolute value of a negative number, that's positive. Absolute value of 0 is 0. Absolute value of a positive number remains positive. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video. And then you can come back and check and see if your graphs are correct. Okay, so check your work and see if you did these correctly. Okay, so again, I kind of showed you what X's to use. You'll get, as you gain more experience, you'll understand that a little bit better. I'm choosing numbers I know square roots of. Okay, see, like if I did the square root of 2, and if I took my graphing calculator and if I did square root of 2, well, I get a decimal. I don't really want that because I don't want to have to graph that. So I'm using these perfect squares right here. Okay, all right, and I'm going to clear all this off of here. Okay, so square root of 0 is 0, square root of 1 is 1, square root of 4 is 2, and so forth. Now plot the points. Here's 0, 0, 1, 1, 4, 2, 9, 3. You don't have to worry about 16, 4. So you want to be able to do this by hand and with a graphing calculator. If you do a graphing calculator, you just type y equals, and then the square root is above x squared, so you got to go second x squared, then you put in x, and then you can go zoom 6. That gives you what that graph looks like. Okay, and one thing you can do on this, notice that if you go second table, you got this same table of values. You got 0, 0, 1, 1, 4, 2. You got those same basic values, see? All right? So you can check this. You can check what you do basically on your graphing calculator. All right? Okay, the next one we have absolute value. Okay, so absolute value of a negative number is positive. So you should have got these numbers. Then when you plot your points, you kind of get this V shape. I showed you a while ago how to do this. The way to, again, to graph absolute value is press y equals, you press math, not like that, press math, number, okay, ABS, press enter, put the X in. Okay, like that, then you can go zoom 6, put you in a standard window. So that's how that graph looks. And again, if you did your table of values, you'll see all these same values that we came up with. Okay, so basically all it's showing is the absolute value of a negative is positive and so forth. Okay, so that's it. Okay, moving to the next page. I'm going to just kind of do this language and let you work a little bit on this. So this is just some given graph. So we're going to answer questions about this. A lot of this is language. Okay, so this is saying y equals f of 5. So if I'm asking for f of 5, I'm saying x is 5, what is y? So you would have to go to where x is equal to 5. X equals 5 right here. What is y? Y is 0. So we would say f of 5 is equal to 0. Okay, that's what that means. Okay, this is f of 0. That means if x is 0, what is y? So you go to where x is 0, go to the graph, that y value is 90. Okay, so you have a point 090. That means f of 0 is 90. If I'm asking for a function value, I'm asking for a y value. Okay, the next one, f of negative 2. Again, it means if x is negative 2, what is y? So I go to negative 2, I put a dot on the graph, and I just sort of estimate what that y value is. What does that look like? Yeah, it's probably 15. Okay, so that's what that is. So you've got another point on here, which is just the point negative 215. So see, the function value is nothing more than the y value. That's what that is. Okay. Now, these next problems are asking something a little bit different. This is telling you if y is 150, what is x? So now you're being told that y is 150. F of x is a y value. So the way you could do this is you could just go straight like this, kind of take a line and go straight through like this. Now, this is not real accurate. It looks like it's going through 2 points, but I can't really tell. It looks to me kind of like it's probably those 2 points there. Now, I'm going to estimate that x value looks like 2. This one right here, hard to tell. Maybe 2.75 or something like that. You just have to estimate that. Okay, the next problem is saying if f of x is 0, that means if y is 0, what is x? Okay, so here's what you do. Y is 0 two places on this graph. There's this place and there's this place. So what are those x values? 5 and negative 3. Okay, so that's the idea with that then. Okay, now I'm going to erase what I did here. Then I want you to go ahead and pause my video and fill out F, G, H, and I. Okay, so see what you got. Now, there's a couple of these you have to estimate on. So this one's pretty clear. This means if x is 4, go over 4, then the graph has a y value or a function value of 90. So I think that one's pretty clear. That's how you look at that. Okay, the next one says if x is 1, what is y? So you go over to x equals 1, you go up to the graph, and I just estimated. I thought that was probably 130. If you didn't put 130, you're not wrong, because we're estimating. Maybe it's 129, 128. It's more of an estimation factor on this. And then this one is saying if x is negative 1.5, which would be there, what's the y value? So to me, that looked like that was pretty clear. That y value was 30. Okay, the next part of this, I don't think you all caught this, but this goes on forever like this. So it's saying if f of x is 90. So what I'm going to do is just kind of draw a horizontal line through 90, and notice that crosses the graph at 3 places. Okay. And then I'm just looking at the x values. So that one of those x values is 4, another x value is 0, and the other one appears to be negative 5. So I got negative 504. Purpose of this is to make sure that you know the language of the mathematics, understand function notation, and what that means. All right, that will wrap up this part.